Hello, everybody. Welcome. As astrologers, we always like to look ahead a little bit to see what are the big aspects coming up and how can we begin to prepare for them. And looking into 2023, March is the month that jumps out with some of the biggest activity, planetary-wise. So I thought I'd do a special video about this several months in advance so that both individually and collectively we can begin to prepare for these energies in the most positive and empowering ways. It's a life-changing month. I really feel this is another shift because two of the three planets involved are Pluto and Saturn. Pluto will change sign briefly and Saturn changes sign for quite a while. So these are the two planets that came together, Pluto and Saturn, in Capricorn at the time in 2020, January the 12th of 2020, really the beginning of the COVID pandemic. Now these two planets are moving on. They're changing frequency and energy. And let's look at the ways in which we can begin to prepare, especially with our thinking and our mental energies. Because whatever is in our thoughts is what will begin to manifest. So, Saturn. We are coming to the end of a long cycle. Saturn on the 8th of March will go into Pisces. Now, Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. So this suggests that we're coming to the end of a long 28, 29 years cycle. And for many of you, it's going to be the beginning of your Saturn return. So if you're born in 1935 to 38, you will be going through a Saturn return, your third Saturn return. The Dalai Lama, for example, is coming up for him. If you were born between 1964 and 67, you will be going through your second Saturn return. And if you're born between 1993 to 96, you'll be going through your first Saturn returns. So for you particularly, born in those years, this is going to be a very significant time for you. But not only that, it will affect us generally because you may have planets in Pisces, you may be Pisces rising. There are all different ways that we will all be affected by these energies. So let me share with you the kinds of energies that this Saturn in Pisces is going to bring. So it's going to be there for pretty much 3 years. It goes a little bit back into Aquarius, but it's mainly going to be in Pisces from March the 8th. So what does this bring together? Well, Saturn is structure, is organization, and Pisces does not like to be structured. So you're dealing with two very different frequencies. Saturn is very happy in Capricorn. It's reasonably happy actually in Aquarius. But you put him into Pisces, Saturn wants to be grounded, wants to be centered. And Pisces is these two fish that are just, weaving in different directions very often. So what this can bring, if you meld these two frequencies together, is the grounding of everything connected with the mystical, astrological, tarot crystals, this whole woo-woo area, as some still call it, and bringing it into a more grounded, energetic. What does that mean? It means that many of you who are healers, who've wanted to really get into business in this area and haven't been able to, or haven't been able to create structure in it, you may find that it gets easier. This will be a period where many healers are going to be verified and validated by the science. For example, just give you a little example here, because this Pisces energy has to do with prayer. And we all know that prayer is extremely powerful. But science and doctors and all of that, well, it's not really the general majority view. And it's not really included in a doctor's consultation necessarily. But I was listening to somebody recounting an actual event that had happened. It was a woman who was in a very bad car crash. And she was in some kind of an altered state. Okay, she was stuck in the car. She wasn't yet released. The help had not come yet. And she was able to tune in to the passers-by, to people who were around the energy of the accident. And she could feel this man, and he was nothing but angry about the accident because it was going to make him late for his meeting. So it was all about him. And there was another woman who was passing by who deeply prayed for the person caught in that accident. And she felt those prayers, and she felt comforted. She felt calmed. She was able to it really helped her with the whole healing process. And afterwards, when she came through it all, because she remembered everything so clearly, she was actually eventually able to reach that woman who prayed for her and thank her. And I think during this time with Saturn in Pisces, we're going to have more evidence of the power of our collective prayer and the power that we can bring in this invisible field, and with Saturn to be able to manifest it and to actually prove the value of the spiritual invisible world. So I think that it's going to be, for example, in 1935 was the time that Alcoholics Anonymous was founded. That was in one of the transits of Saturn in Pisces. An organization, Saturn, helping people with addictions, Pisces. So it's also probably going to bring changes in the entertainment industry. Pisces certainly rules media, particularly visual media, photography, videos, films. I think there may be changes in the industry where it becomes less about profit and more about merging the sacred, Pisces, with the mundane, Saturn. I'm hoping that it may herald a change in how we teach children, that we may in fact introduce more meditation into schools generally, helping children and encouraging, the fairies and the elves and all those little beings that we're told at a young age, it's a load of rubbish. No, there may be more and more schools and institutions who welcome and embrace astrology to be taught in schools. So I think that this may well be something that comes from this Saturn energy. The energy as well has to do with Saturn structures, building structures over water, because Pisces is the watery energy. So we might see more buildings on water, over water, constructions to do with water. And I do believe that Holland and the Netherlands are already have been investigating that for some time. But for example, in 1994 was the time that the Channel Tunnel was opened. Of course, the thing that joined the UK to Europe. And well, we'll see what happens with Brexit. I won't get into that. But that was, again, a Saturn in Pisces energy. So one of the ways to begin to work with this energy is to begin to open yourself to the power of the invisible field, the mystical field, the spiritual you, and to find ways of grounding it and bringing it of value to others. So I do think healing is going to take on a massive jump from this time period, the med beds and all kinds of healing modalities involving the power of focused prayer towards others and towards our planet. I think we can move light years with this frequency. That's one. Then, now I have spoken quite a lot about this in another video, so I won't go into too much detail, but it's in the same month, on the 24th of the month, Pluto will go into Aquarius until June. So it's a 3-month period. Then in 2024, it will go into Aquarius for 20 years. But we get the taste of it here. We'll get the taste of the feeling. And Aquarius is very different from the Pisces energy. The Pisces is the feelings, is the intuition, is that deeper knowing. The Aquarius is the technology, is the mental, is the mind. And I think we're probably going to have more discoveries about how to find out what's going on with the body with this energy, because it's going to be at 0 degrees of Aquarius, which is what we had in December of 2020. So if you like, we're building layers and we're going upwards, if we so choose, to higher levels of being able to see inside the body. All right. We've had the discovery of X-rays came with Pluto, the ability to see inside. New MRIs, I think, are coming. New ways of being able to uninvasively heal and work on the body with lasers, with stem cells, with all kinds of things. These are coming. The miniaturization of technology. Watch for this. It's even things like invisible computers. I do believe that's on the table. I have no idea how they work, but I don't really know how most things work, really. So I think we're going to see some amazing superhuman powers coming through. Things around immortality coming up, rewriting science, time and space, some very amazing scientists really coming through during this time. I think we'll be solving mysteries, maybe the mystery of the Torah, the mystery of quantum physics, parallel universes. This is going to be a time of a scientific revolution. So it's how we will use the technology. We're going to use it for the good of all, or are we going to be pulled down by the evil inclinations around power of AI exceeding human intelligence? I mean, there's a lot in this. Our cosmic origin, the ETs, it's huge. We're going to be looking at power, which is Pluto, power of technology, power of people, power of networks, power of artificial intelligence, power of conquering aging. How do we do that? How do we get in touch with that which is immortal? And how do we begin to live that for the good of all? So this is, there's a lot there. Then on the 26th of the month, Mars, ruler of Pluto, changes sign. So Mars, all these months, has been in Gemini, many, many months since last August, and finally changing sign and going into Cancer. It's more direct. All right, these two are the biggies, but nonetheless, the fact that Mars moves at this time suggests that anything that you've been undecided about, anything you've been on the fence about, there's a direction, there's a clarity, there's a moving forward. This has an energy of forward momentum. The fact that it's in Cancer would have to do with the energy of all embracing our world family, recognizing that we really are one. The pandemic certainly was the wake-up call to that. And now this month of March, I feel, is extremely significant as we build up to it in really working with our inner being and how you can keep raising your frequency and not going towards the evil inclinations, but constantly raising higher and higher. And in that, as you do that, you will influence and impact everybody in this field, because we're all in the same soup, and you'll help raise other people too. So every smile that you give, every song that you sing, every color that you share, every kind word, every kind email, every apology where it's needed, every way that you can look for repeatedly the good things, then we're going to be able to energize this time to take us onto another higher positive timeline. I'm looking forward to your comments, to your feedback. Much love. Bye for now.